First thing we need to do here is install the plugin we're going to use for the variations. So let's go to the plugin section, click add new. And in the search area, we're going to type Variation Swatches for WooCommerce and find the one by Cartflows. Click install now. And once it says it's installed, click activate. And there we go. We have all the plugins we need. And this is completely free. Now that we have our plugin installed, we need to actually create a product. So click on the product section, click add new, give your product a name, scroll down into the area where it says simple product, and we need to change our product type to a variable product. These swatches, they're not going to work on a simple product. They only work with the variations. So make sure you do that. And then the next thing we need to do is add some attributes. The attribute is actually where you're going to add things like colors. So that's the section for this. And in this dropdown, it says custom product attribute. We could add them this way, but then if we add more products, we need to redo that every single time. So the better way to do this is to actually add a global attribute. So let's go do that now. First, I want to save the product. So we'll do publish. And then in the left-hand menu, click on attributes. And we're going to just, where it says name, type in color, and then add attribute. That's going to give us a new color attribute. Now we can go back into our product and continue on with adding those attributes. So go back into this attribute section and click the drop down and click color. Then click the add button and we can add whatever colors we want here. So let's go ahead and hit add new. We'll do red. We'll add a gray and we'll add a purple. Once we have all our colors in, we want to make sure we check off the use for variations checkbox and then click save attributes. Once your attributes are saved, we can go into the variation section, click this drop down and say create variations from all attributes. And now you can see we have a gray, purple, and red variation. And let's go ahead and give these all a price just so that the product actually works. We're going to set this to 80,000. And we're also going to add a featured image to each one of these variations just so that when we click the swatches, the image updates. So we'll give the gray image, the purple image, and we will do a red image. And let's go ahead and give it a featured image while we're in here. Cool. All right, now that our product is basically set up, let's take a look at it on the front end. And we can see our three color options, gray, purple, and red. And what you might notice here, if you're familiar with WooCommerce, is that a variable product, it usually has a drop down that would have these options in it. But since we have that plugin installed, it automatically created labels instead of a drop down. So that's pretty cool. And you can see our image on the left changes when we choose these. So all that stuff works. Let's jump back into the product and go over some of these options. So if we click on the swatches section, you see our color attribute that we added. And on the right, it says attribute type, which is set to default. By default, it's going to be label, and the label is just going to be the name of your attribute. Let's change this to color. Once we do that, we can click this little drop-down button, and we're going to see options for each of our attributes. So we get a nice color picker here. We can pick our gray color, we can pick our purple color, and we can pick a red color. So let's do that. Click save, update our product, and go give our page a refresh. Cool, so we have our little swatches here we can click on, updates the color. They're a little small. We can fix that. This plugin actually comes with a whole area of global settings. So under WooCommerce, click on Variation Swatches, and then do settings at the top. First page gives you some options on where you want the swatches to appear. We're just going to leave it all turned on. We're going to focus on this global styling tab. So the first option you have here is actually the minimum width and then the minimum height. So we can change this. Let's go with 60 and make them a little bigger, see what they look like. And the nice thing on this page is you don't actually have to save anything. It's all Ajax and it just updates as you change things. So let's refresh our page, and that's a little large. Let's change it back to about, I'll go with 32. We'll go with that. All right, cool. Then you can see there's some more options here. We have a border radius. Right now it's set to 3. You can bump that up to like 10, change the font size, the border color. You can see there's a bunch of options in here. And every time we update something, we can see it on the front end. So all this stuff works. Let's jump back into the product and set up a swatch image instead of a color. So go back down to our swatches section and click our drop down here next to attribute type again and switch it to image. And then we'll click this drop down icon. And now we can see we can upload images for each one of these. So let's go ahead and select our gray car, select our purple car, and we'll select our red car. Click save here, update our product, and let's give our page a refresh. And we can see that worked, but the images kind of look cut off and a little weird. So let's jump back into our global settings. And I think we can fix that. Let's change this number to, let's go with a 125 width, and I'll leave the height where it's at and give it a refresh. Still not quite cutting it. I'll go up 55. And that looks about perfect. So there you have it. You can do color swatches, image swatches, and label swatches all for free with this plugin. So I hope this helped. And if you want to see more like this, make sure you subscribe.